Hi, I'm Lisa Concepcion, love life strategist, coach, dating and relationship expert, and founder of LoveQuestCoaching.com. And I wanted to share a breakthrough that my client had this week. It's fresh in my mind, and it's certainly something that impacts all of us and how we show up in our relationships. So this woman is doing a program that I created called the Post-Breakup Detox. And what that program is designed to do is to help you get over them and get back in touch with you so that you can start to love up on yourself and heal certain things within yourself that kind of makes patterns happen in our relationships. So if you're seeing that you keep attracting the same situations in your relationship, or if you're single, you're attracting the same kind of people and the same situations come up over and over again, that's because there's inner work to do so that you can solve these things for yourself. Otherwise, the purpose of a relationship is to help us look at these things that are happening within us that we have yet to heal. So oftentimes people make the mistake of exiting a relationship prematurely because really all that relationship was doing was simply poking at you so that you can look at the things within yourself that you need to heal. So when we do this, we attract the people who are not necessarily the wrong people, but the people who are just to advance us so that we can come to the awareness of what it is that's going on within us. So I'll give you the example about my client. So my client broke up with someone who was not good for her. She realized he was belittling her, speaking just not lovingly and not kindly, abusive almost. He was very narcissistic. The entire relationship revolved around him. There wasn't like any give and take, and she was in this relationship for 6 years. And so she reached a point where she just inside her instinctively realized that this relationship was no longer for her. And she was just, I've had it. I want to be self-loving, and self-loving people do not tolerate people who talk down to them and belittle them. So she gathered up her reasons. She decided to exit the relationship, and now she wanted to rebuild and renew herself so that she does not attract that type of man again. She's taking full responsibility, recognizing that the only thing she can change really is herself. And so she wants to do the things to get to the root of why is she vibing vibrationally, vibrational frequency? Why is she on a level that attracts this type of man? Because it's not the first time that it happened, and she's like, I've had it, I'm done with it, let's go and look at me. So I am working with her on that through the Breakup Detox program, and we speak weekly. I give her homework and all kinds of customized content, journal entries, different prompts to advance her to the next level. And so after speaking with her a few weeks now, we've gotten to the point where she became curious about her relationship with her mother and how that factors in to the relationships she creates for herself and how she shows up in those relationships. And so she clearly, through coaching and talking together, started to see the connection of the dots. Like, oh my God, I'm attracting my mother, except he has a penis, but it's the same energy, the same thoughts, the same language, all of that poking. It's simply so that she can satisfy and soothe whatever issues she has going on from her childhood through this relationship. So now the relationship is over, but she still has to soothe what's going on with her and her mom in this relationship that they have years and years and years of being together as mother-daughter. And this is something I always see in relationships. You want to know where you're showing up in relationships? Look at your relationships with your parents and look at the relationships that your parents had with your grandparents, and on and on. This is all generational, and a lot of this thinking gets passed down generation to generation. And so you're showing up in relationships and you're like, dude, why do I even behave this way? And it has to do with how you were parented and how your parents were parented. So if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of your healing, go generational and have a chat with your parents about their childhood and ask these questions about how were you punished? Like when you got in trouble, do you remember a time when you were little and you got in trouble? Like what was that like for you? And that will reveal a ton about how your parents can get transported into being 6, 7, 8 years old little kids, and those memories are still so fresh in their minds, and they will share them with you from a place of love and curiosity, not blame. Because when you come at your parents and you're like, what happened to you? Why am I the way I am? It's very confrontational and it's very combative, and it's not going to be collaborative. So you want to collaborate with your parents and get to the facts, get to the data as to why you are the way you are and why you show up in relationships the way you do. So she did this exercise. She actually had the courage to say, Mom, you know, there are certain things that I'm curious about. I just ended this relationship with this man, and it brought out all of this curiosity in me about how I show up in my relationships. And I was just wondering, Ma, you know, I noticed that you and I were always kind of this way. My perception of our relationship, Ma, was like this. And I'm not blaming you. It's just my perception, my view of the world. So I was curious, when you were my age, when you were like, little, when you were a little kid, and maybe grandma came at you in a certain way, like, tell me what that was like for you. Like when you got in trouble, like what were you nervous about or anxious about as a kid? Well, when you open up that conversation, the amount of clarity and the bonding that you automatically have with your parent changes the game of how you relate. But not only that, it changes the way you start to make sense of, wow, now I understand why I show up in relationships the way I show up. Now I understand why I need what I need when I am in relationship. And I understand what I evoke in that other person. It's all on you. So when you take responsibility and you put these dots together, you're like, I totally get it. And then you can start to make these profound shifts in your life, right? So my program helps people to do this. This lady did this successfully. She just texted me last night and she was like, I had this conversation with my mom. It was the first time in years, I'm talking decades, that her mother called her to thank her for her help with something she helped her out with in her house. So her mom existed on this level of, I'm the mother and you're to jump when I say jump, and I'm the mother and when I say I need you, you come. And so the perception that this woman had of her mom was that she was very narcissistic and that she could be bleeding and hurting and awful, and the mother would say, suck it up, buttercup, because I need you over here. And it was all about her, and she didn't ever soothe her daughter or say, how are you? Like, do you need mommy for anything, you know? So she always felt needy, clingy, because she didn't know where her soothing, her nurturing was going to come from. But they were able to handle that and speak with love and curiosity to one another. And so it resulted in the mom calling her up and saying, listen, I want to thank you for the time that you spent with me, helping me today. And, you know, while we're at it, I want to thank you for all the times you've ever helped me. And that's amazing. So now this lifted my client up so much, where she established a boundary. She found her voice. She communicated with kindness to her mom. And that was a difficult conversation, but she had it and it resulted favorably. So now she feels confident that she can go into a relationship and ask for what she wants and make observations when she has them and step into that voice and just express herself. I mean, this was a woman who had illness around her throat chakra, because she was holding in truths. She couldn't find her voice. Finally, she did. Through this life's journey, she now is able to have a voice. So that's a program called, I know, such drama, but it's a program that I love to do with people. It's one of the many that I offer. It's called the Breakup Detox. You get over them, you get back to you, and you unravel all the meat, all the stuff, all the knots that perpetuate patterns in your relationships. I'm Lisa Concepcion. If you'd like to connect with me and get nuggets of information, subscribe to this channel, but also visit lovequestcoaching.com and sign up for my list, and then you can get first crack at new programs, new discounts, deals, all kinds of magic that I offer for coaching programs that can help you out in your dating and relationship life. Thanks so much, you guys. It was a blessing to be with you today. Again, like the channel if you are following me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.